Welcome, students. I'm going to jump right into things here. So we're on chapter 1.13, and this is all about algebraic terminology here. So let me see if I can, my pen's working. It's working. Um, so we're going to give you some terms, okay? This is all about just giving some terms. It wouldn't be my first choice to throw a bunch of these terms at you, but this is the way our text works. And so I'm going to jump into some things, okay? Something called a constant here. A constant is just a number. It's another name for a number, okay? Like 4 or 25 here. Um, in algebra, a constant is a number. Okay, just like a consonant is the letter T or R is a consonant in language. Constant stands for a number, and a variable stands for a letter. Okay, and this is where algebra started getting kind of confusing for people. But if I said 3x here, or x, or y, or a, or b, a variable is the letter as part of that equation here. Again, 2b, the variable is b. 3x, the variable is x, and the constant is 3. The constant here is 2, okay? If I had the equation 2x equals 10, some of you got really lost in algebra and they started throwing these letters in here and you started hating math. Could you figure that out though? 2 times what equals 10? Oh, in this case, x must be 5, okay? So it's just whatever makes the equation equal is really what it is what that x stands for. If I had this other equation here, 2x equals 12, you would know, well, what's x equal? Well, 2 times 6. So in that case, x is 6. So all x is, or all that variable is whatever makes the equation equal, okay? So that might help you not be a little less frightened of variables. But um, then there's something called just a term, and it's a constant or a variable or the product of them. So this is a term, but it's also a constant, okay? M is a term or the product. If I multiply 5m, that's also called a term. It's just a single thing together. If I had 7y, for instance, that is considered a term because it's one kind of unit together. I'm not saying plus anything yet, okay? Or minus something or, all right. You've also got something called an expression. And an expression is a mathematical phrase. And so I like to think of it like English. It's like a phrase, a complete sentence has phrases, but it's also have to have a complete thought to make it a sentence, okay? A phrase, so a mathematical phrase with terms separated by a plus or minus. So if I had 2x plus 5, that's what's called an expression. You'll notice I'm not saying equals anything. I'm just saying 2x plus 5. So when a phrase is when you've got a term and then separated by plus or minus, okay? You know, again, 7y minus 1 is an expression. All right, so that's what it is. It's like a phrase in English. Now, an equation, all right, if you're talking about equations, it's important to understand that equations are or something, you know, I think I spelled it wrong, by the way. This should be a T here. Equation. It's a mathematical statement that two expressions are equal. Okay, two expressions are equal. So that's the key thing here, this word equal here. Whenever you see this equal sign that you see right here in this is an equation, okay? 2x plus 5 equals 15. And when you have an equal sign, now you have an equation, okay? And this particular equation, 2x plus 5, well, 2 times 5 is 10, plus 5 is 15. So this must be, x must be 5 in this particular case, okay? All right, so those are some terms, okay? I'll let you review those. And I like to think of an equation as being kind of like a complete sentence. It equals something, all right? Now, factors, I want to review factoring a little bit. If they ask you, what are the factors of 6, for instance? What are the factors? Well, I know 2 times 3, okay? So 2 is, 3 is, and then 1 times 6. 1 is a factor and 6. Those are all 4 factors of 6. If I ask you what are the factors of 12, well, I know 1 times 12, so those are factors. 2 times 6, those are factors. 3 times 4, those are factors of 12. Now it's going to get a little bit interesting here in this letter C example here. What about 11x? What are the things that are multiplied by each other? Okay, 11 is a factor. It's multiplied, and x is a factor. Those are both separate and factors of 11x. Those are the factors of 11x. Okay, if I had 2y, what are the factors of 2y? They are 2 and y. See how I separated them with a comma there? Do that in your homework and also in your any test. All right. Um, Look at this right here. By the way, I've got 3x minus 12y. Is that an expression or an equation? That is an expression because there's no equal sign. Okay. What are the factors in that? Here's how we would answer that. Well, there's 3 and it's multiplied by x. That's a factor. And then it's got these two are multiplied by each other, 12 and y. So 12 and y. Those are my 4 factors. Okay. Somebody might be saying, hey, Tim, should I factor down 12 into all these ones that you've got up here also? In this case, no. When you have it right next to each other, times each other, no. We'll just call 12 a factor and y a factor. Okay. And so those are just a review of how to factor things out. Now, I want to review exponents. You guys remember that if I had these little numbers here, that are at the top of a number, like they're smaller and right above it, those are called exponents. Okay, and what you do is you take the base, okay, the base number, and you multiply it by itself, however many times that number is up there. Okay, so 2 squared means 2 times 2, which is 4. Okay, 3 to the third, that's how I would say this. This is the exponent, 3 here. 3 to the third would be 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. If I had 4, and there's a little 4 up there, that's the exponent, okay? And that means 4 times 4 times 4 times 4, okay? So that's what exponents are. You'll see that in your homework a little bit as we're coming up here, all right? All right, here's a definition that you'll want to write down: polynomials. A polynomial is an expression with one or more terms. Any exponents of the variables must be whole numbers, all right? For it to be a true polynomial, the exponent has to be a whole number. What else could it be? It could be a fraction, okay? If it's a fraction, then it's not a polynomial, okay? So that's just the definition of this thing called a polynomial. It's an expression, okay? It's an expression with one or more terms. All right, so in some ways, it's kind of like another name for an expression. But there are a couple different kinds of polynomials. A monomial, this means one here, it only has one term, okay? 2x, remember that I said terms, they can be like this, 2x. So that's a monomial. Binomials have 2 terms, so 2x plus, I'm separating it with a plus or minus sign. So I've got 2 terms here, so we call it a binomial. This one and the other one right here. And then a trinomial is a polynomial with 3 terms. So I've got 2x plus 5 minus 4. That's going to be a trinomial. Okay, so 1 term, 2 terms, 3 terms. We name those monomials, binomials, and trinomials. Okay, all right. Another concept that I want to talk about is you'll see in your homework for this chapter is the degree of something. Okay, and it's the highest variable that appears on a variable in a polynomial. Okay, really, it's the highest exponent that happens here. So. So if you have the highest exponent on a variable, so the number 7 doesn't have any variables. It doesn't have any variables, so it'd be considered 0 degrees. 7x, okay, this is just x one time, so it would be 1 degree, just 1 degree. 7x squared, the highest exponent is a 2, so that's 2 degrees. 7x to the third, the highest exponent, okay, and I'm going to just write this right here. This might kind of clarify, okay, the highest exponent um, on this variable is the degree. So 7x to the third is 3 degrees, 7x to the fourth is 4 degrees, okay? So that's how you determine degrees. Just be sure to write that down in your notes and have that when you do your homework, and then kind of remember that. So I got some practice problems for you. Identify which type of polynomial it is for each of these and its degree, okay? So in letter A here, I've got 5x minus 5 minus 3x, okay? What type of polynomial is it? Monomial, binomial, or trinomial, okay? It's a binomial. It's got two terms. So that's what kind of a polynomial. It's a binomial. It's got two. And what degree is it? Okay, we go to the exponent on a variable. Well, here's my only variable here, and it's only just x. So that's like x to the 1, so it's first 1 degree, okay? That's how I determine that. All right. All right. Letter B here, 5x squared minus 9n plus 2. Is that a monomial, binomial, or trinomial? Well, I've got 3 separate terms, so it's going to be a trinomial. I'm just going to write tri here for the sake of time here. And what degree is it? Find the exponent. Where is there an exponent? Yeah, it's right here, the highest one. It's the second degree, okay? And that's how I'll find that would be considered second degree. What about the number 4? Okay, is it a monomial? It's a monomial, okay? and it is, what degree is it? Well, I'm looking up here at my example here. It's just 0 degrees, okay? 0 degrees, okay? How about the expression in letter D here, x to the third plus x squared minus x minus 1. It's got 4 terms, so it's none of the, it's not a monomial, binomial, or a trinomial. I would say it's none of the above, okay? So it's none. And what degree is it, though? I put a comma here, degree. The highest exponent is a 3, so it's the 3 degrees, okay? That's how I would determine that one right there, okay? That is the highest degree. I hope these examples are helpful to you, and be sure and let me know if you have any questions. Be sure and send that to me in email, and let me know if you need some help.